Our CES 2018 coverage is proudly powered by Amazon. Help support our content by going to PLUGHITZlive.com/Amazon.
Alante here again with my buddy Scott. We're still at the Samsung booth. We're going to scale it down a little bit. Talk about some TVs that aren't the wall, but are still amazing. So what do you have for us?
So when we're not talking about micro LED in the wall and the grandioso modular TV, we're talking about QLED with Samsung, which is quantum dot-based LED TVs. Behind us, we have another awesome product. It's not 146 inch, but this one's 85 inches. And the key feature is we've seen 85 before. This is an 8K panel. So, you know, where everyone's getting excited about 4K and taking advantage of the clarity and crispness and sharpness, we're stepping it up again.
Yeah, I see. I mean, the quality is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the quality is mind-blowing. And for Samsung, we're also going to be using something called AI upscaling. So there's two things we want to talk about. Why is Samsung moving to 8K now? It's a great question. So we have to look back at TV over the last 10 years. So we invented, well, we didn't invent it, but high definition came out, which was 1080p. And at the time, a large screen TV was 55 inches, and it was perfect. And the price was right for 55s, and they sold like hotcakes. But then you fast forward 5 years, and people are moving into 65-inch and 70-inch TVs, and we have to move into 4K, because what ends up happening is these TVs are made up of little dots. The closer you get, the more chance you could see the dots. And as prices came down of 65s, people started jumping on. And what happens is, as people get bigger TVs, they don't get a bigger room. The couch doesn't move further back. They sit 8 feet. That's a fixed thing. And now 75, 82, 85-inch TVs are becoming very common in the household. It has to do with price point coming down, quality going up. With people sitting so close to the screen, we need to make the pixel smaller. So, you know, there's plenty of 4K content. We, of course, have UHD Blu-ray, which we all love, best source of picture. Samsung has 2 new UHD Blu-ray players for this year, so really exciting. But for getting a TV to show 8K, we have to upscale. So it doesn't matter whether you're watching your favorite sports team, playing your favorite video game, this TV will upscale so everything is in 8K on the Samsung 8K TV. However, we do need to do what's called upscaling.
Okay.
And upscaling is a technology that allows us to take lower resolution stuff and show it full screen here in the right resolution.
Okay.
Samsung believes that we can get better and better as time goes on. So at the Samsung Lab, they'll constantly be looking at new ways to upconvert 8K, especially as new formats come out.
Right.
And as they get better, they will firmware update these TVs over the network, over the internet, so that your TV will get better over time. Imagine watching Star Wars: A New Hope. It's available on DVD at 480 lines of resolution, and it looks awesome. 3 weeks goes by, your TV gets a firmware update, you watch the same movie, and it looks better. So knowing that the longer you own your TV, the better it's going to look and get is something that's very exciting for customers. But Samsung doesn't stop there. We're showing a lot of cool stuff here at the booth. One of the big pain points for customers is the first hour of TV ownership, and we really wanted to address that. You know, when people talk about smart TVs, they're talking about Netflix. Can it stream Netflix, Amazon, Hulu? And of course we could do that. And we have some really cool features that allow you to go from live TV to streaming and right back to live TV again. So you can almost channel surf with your with your streaming apps now. But setup. The first thing you need to do is get in your Wi-Fi password, right? And you type it in one letter at a time. So this year, Samsung's really expanding our SmartThings platform, which is our smart home. We have Bixby on board now, which is our digital assistant to control SmartThings. Bixby is on board with the TV, but this is what's going to happen. When a customer plugs their TV in for the first time, the TV is going to send out a Bluetooth signal. And any phone running the SmartThings app will click up. And it'll say, hey, would you like to use this phone to further setup? You select yes. And then it will say, would you like to share your phone's Wi-Fi password with the TV? Now, some customers, what they have is their Wi-Fi password is a sticker on their router, and you got to dig it behind, take a photograph of it. My eyes are going, I can't see. And then
Just explain my life.
Right. Or you can come to my house. My password is Samsung TVs are the best. There's no better in the world. And that's a lot of things to type in, too. So, right. So being able to share that Wi-Fi credential, that's the first step. TVs check for updates, but the next thing it'll do is say, hey, I noticed that you have Spotify on the phone, I have Spotify on the TV, would you like to use your password credentials and share that? So now what happens is within the first few minutes of the TV, you have all your streaming apps from your phone right on the TV, passwords and credentials. You don't have to do that one letter at a time. That's going to simplify things.
Now, as you're explaining, I did get to catch the press conference where they demonstrated it on stage,
Yes.
and I can tell you guys right now, the setup took maybe 45 seconds, something like that.
It's really quick, and for if you're a cord cutter, you're done there. But not everyone's a cord cutter, so we want to address them too. So for Samsung, anything you plug in HDMI, I mean, maybe there's like 1% of things, but for most things you plug in
Can't avoid it
HDMI,
100%.
right.
Yeah.
Most things you plug in HDMI, the TV will automatically recognize it. It'll change the input from HDMI 1 to Xbox with the logo. It'll change input 2 to DirecTV or Comcast or Charter with the logo. And you plug a Blu-ray player in, it changes the input. Now you can then change the order of the inputs on how they appear on screen, but you don't have to remember which input you plugged what into. We got you.
That struggle is too real, I can tell you that.
Right, and then we do the final thing. We self-program the remote. No customer interaction is needed. Once we identify the product, we program the Samsung Smart Remote to control all these devices. And that includes your cable box, set-top box, DVR, menu, guide, so you don't really need that cable box remote anymore. Now, although I believe the best way to stream from our streaming partners is through the apps on our TV because they're matched to the resolution and performance, especially with Amazon now putting out HDR10 Plus. That's going to be only obtainable right now on the TV app. But there are some game-centric people that use their Xbox for everything. They want to watch Netflix off their app. Everything is just through that interface, and that's fine too because our remote would be programmed to control that Xbox. Can't play your video games with our remote, but you can navigate the menus and select your apps. So what we're doing now is, if you're a cord cutter, you're done at the app sharing. If you're not, once you plug everything in, the TV identifies it, programs the remote, and you're good to go. So what we've done is we've taken out the anxiety and the stress of getting your TV hooked up right the first time.
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, you guys are really changing the game. I mean, you're taking out all of this process, of setup and having all of these separate devices, all of these, separate peripherals, and I mean, giving us control with, one device, one controller. I mean, it's a game changer.
Well, it's actually even bigger than that.
Oh my goodness.
So what I've talked about now is the average household and what's currently hooked up, but we're really moving into a smart home world where your lights, your baby monitors, your garage door, everything is controlled through an app on your phone. Some people have the Ring app for their doorbell, the Nest app, but Samsung has SmartThings, which has brought all of these different smart things under one umbrella. We've given us Bixby, now not just on the phone, but on TVs and Family Hub refrigerators to control SmartThings. So what this opens up is the possibility now from your TV remote, from your couch, to create all these things that never existed before. Let me give you some real life examples.
Sure, go for it.
Let's say I'm sitting on my couch watching TV and I'm like, I'm a little bit hungry. I can say, Bixby, what's in my refrigerator with my TV remote?
Wow.
Bixby will show me the fridge cams that are in our Family Hub fridges, and I can see maybe I've got some cookie dough. I love cookies. Who doesn't love cookies, right?
Cookies.
So what I'm then going to say is, Bixby, preheat the oven to 350. And the Samsung smart ovens will preheat to 350. I'm not going to get up yet because it takes a little time. And then when Bixby comes back and tells me the oven has reached 350, I'll get up and start making some cookies.
That is awesome.
So as you can see, we've taken the traditional home entertainment and made it super simple. And now we're expanding outside the home theater into the rest of the home. So, I can say that a good majority of people, the last thing they touch before they go to bed at night is they either power down their TV or hit the sleep timer, or they pick up their phone, set their alarm, and check their email.
True.
Now, Samsung has Bixby in both places, so either interface would be fine. But imagine at the end of the night, instead of hitting the power button on the TV, you said, Bixby, good night. And Bixby then knows to lock every door, make sure the garage door is closed, lower the thermostat to sleeping, lower the blinds so you don't wake up when the sun rises, and take care of all the smart home things that you need done when you go to sleep. And, I've told many people about this, and you know what someone had to say to me?
What was that?
The last thing I do before bed is I get a drink of water. And I said, well, that's great because Bixby's on the fridge. And when you close the fridge door, hit the Bixby button and say goodnight, and everything will go to sleep. Obviously, you can do the inverse in the morning, Bixby good morning, and you can set up to turn all your TVs on to the news, get the lighting right, get the blinds up. So what Samsung's doing here, especially at CES in the booth, is really showcasing how, we may be TV-centric, we may be phone-centric, or we may be kitchen-centric, but Samsung and Bixby are going to make your life simpler with easier setup, make it simpler with interactivity between our products, and not lock it into Samsung, because SmartThings platform is open source. So whatever your favorite thermostat is, whatever your favorite door lock is, whatever your favorite doorbell is, Samsung is on board with SmartThings, on board with Bixby, on board with our 2018 lineup to be able to make your lives better so you can do what you can, which is the motto here at Samsung.
Yeah, see, what they're really not telling us is that they're trying to give us that Iron Man life that's what I'm looking for, because I tell you, it really seems like we are getting to that point where every device controls everything. These devices aren't on islands of their own,
Right.
with little bits of interactivity. I mean, the Samsung show really showed us that everything can work together and not just be a Samsung product. So I mean, that's absolutely exciting. That's a future that I look forward to. Scott, you've been absolutely amazing. I know I let you go for however long. This was a long one, but I mean, so much information.
Yep.
Our viewers will definitely be appreciative of it, and there'll be plenty of writing about it as well. So definitely stay tuned to PLUGHITZlive.com/CES for all of this coverage and more. Samsung has so much to show us. Thank you very much.